Next on the screen says, take a look at this video, Valve's biggest failure. Dun dun dun. Who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Artifact? Oh.
At this point, calling Artifact a dead game would be insulting to dead games. Dota All-Stars,
Why is it lagging like a bitch?
CS 1.6, and Brood War are dead games, but there are thousands of people who play them every day.
It is a good day to die.
Artifact is...
Brood War is not really a dead game. There's a bunch of Koreans playing that shit still, like way more than just a few thousands. Way more.
beyond dead.
Destroy an enemy artifact? But Artifact is already dead.
In just a few months, its player base has dwindled from tens of thousands of people to only a few hundred.
What happened with Artifact? Dead game. That's what happened.
As of June 2019, at any given time, there were about 100.
Hold that thought. I have to take out the chicken nuggets and onion rings. For some reason I thought it would be a good idea to eat one onion ring right out of the fucking oven. Was not a good idea.
30 people playing Artifact. There are more people playing Football Manager 2010, Call of Duty Ghosts, and Sakura Clicker right now than Artifact.
Artifact is garbage. Oh my.
It is impossible to overstate how humiliating it is for a game that was made by Valve, the makers
Huh?
of Steam, Counter-Strike, Half-Life,
Yeah.
and plenty more hits, to fail like
Yeah.
this.
It's the biggest stream in the fucking Artifact section. 6 viewers is this guy.
Artifact isn't just Valve's greatest failure, it's their only failure. But it wasn't supposed to be.
I mean, they can't release it like this.
Artifact was supposed to change everything.
What?
Oh
What?
my
What? Did you hear that? What was that?
Artifact was supposed to change everything. It wasn't supposed to be.
I mean, they can't release it like this.
They can't really what?
Artifact was supposed to change everything.
Oh my, look at this fucking thing! Holy shit! Holy shit, Jay!
It had something for everyone. A welcome reduction in RNG for people
Release
who
it
play
like
Hearthstone.
this,
It
oh.
was arguably even more complicated than Magic, and it really seemed like it had the legs to be the Dota community's newest side piece.
Do I think there will be another game that will hold my attention like Dota did all these years?
No.
Yes, there is a
But-
certain
oh.
game called Artifact.
And then, in the wake of one perfect storm, it all came crashing down. Now, in order to understand why Artifact failed, we have to go all the way back to the International 2017, where it was first revealed.
I have a special announcement to make. Now, it's not Half-Life 3, for what it's worth. It's not a new hero. But Valve has a new game coming soon. You're not giving me the appropriate reaction that deserves.
And instead of being greeted by cheers, all it invoked was a loud sigh of disappointment. Artifact's public life began with the first of its many problems. Valve was pitching it to a community that just didn't care.
The good news is that Valve has announced a brand new game, the first in what feels like eons. The bad news is that it's a game that most people didn't really ask for.
Valve could have announced that they'd finally figured out how to fix the lag on Monkey King's ult and received a standing ovation. Instead, they told a room full of Dota fiends that their explosive MOBA was being turned into a card game.
It is fully understandable to be disappointed when their new game turns out to be their own version of Hearthstone.
But then, Valve announced that Richard Garfield would be heading up Artifact's development.
The legend himself, ladies and germs, it's Richard Garfield, man. The creator of everything you've ever loved.
One of the original creators
Well,
of Magic the Gathering,
not
Garfield
anymore.
has a proven record when it comes to churning out masterpieces. Hearthstone was huge at the time, and in order to beat it, Valve brought in one of the creators of the genre.
I really enjoyed the electronic card games that had come out, but I felt like they didn't capture the epic quality you sometimes got in paper card games. And so I talked to Valve about that and gave them some ideas for mechanics that you could use to do that. And 3 years later, this is where we are.
He's always been regarded as a bona fide genius, with a PhD in combinatorial mathematics, and Artifact was being touted as his most sophisticated project yet.
I would say the first piece of advice I give to somebody coming to this from other card games is that they can't really think of it as a card game they're used to, in that the complexity of the game, the strategic state is much broader than they're used to.
It was a very complicated card game.
Like a MOBA or a real-time strategy game, but set on cards.
Over the course of the next year, Artifact's clout went up significantly. Valve put the game into a highly exclusive closed beta, and over time, Artifact built up something of a mystique.
Well, from all info I got, I feel Artifact is an amazing game, and I will definitely give it a try.
They even announced that Artifact would have its own $1 million tournament, which was groundbreaking by card game standards.
So we do think tournaments and spectation are going to be super important. We're going to start off by having, similar to the original international that we did for Dota, there's going to be $1 million tournament.
By the time Gaben made his next TI appearance, it was clear that even the Dota community's opinion on Artifact had changed.
If you've linked your ticket to your account, you'll get a free copy of Artifact. And you're all in the beta starting in October in order to compete in the tournament.
I've been trying really hard.
So what happened?
Yeah,
Did they ever say anything about it?
Use a loser
the tournament.
An Artifact key.
And then, in November 2018, Artifact was released to the world. But it wasn't the launch that Valve wanted. It
Did they just say nothing?
pretty quickly that the game had problems. Problems that people would have found out about beforehand if only the game had an open beta. First of all, the game's $20 price tag and so-called open economy really frustrated some players.
Economy is a huge problem. I'm concerned about it personally.
Now, there's nothing wrong with having an open economy in theory. The issue is that Valve was selling it on a digital marketplace. And the people that Valve was trying to poach away from Hearthstone, well, they were used to a free-to-play model. One where they could grind cards for free and then had the option of paying for packs. Those people felt kind of cheated by Artifact.
If you don't get 3 wins in Expert Constructed or Phantom Draft, you don't get a ticket back. So if you...
Wait, Shroud played this?
The only way you get tickets is to buy it. There should be a...
Wait, when did Shroud play this? Huh? Never saw him play this.
Way to earn tickets to get you into expert play.
I like a lot of things about the game, but the economy is pretty expensive for a lot of people.
But one of the most hotly contested issues about Artifact was its design. Some people felt like it was way too RNG heavy, while others thought it wasn't RNG heavy enough.
No, it was not RNG heavy.
People are saying there's no RNG in the game, or like, yeah, the RNG is all controlled, you can play around all the RNG. The game is an RNG fest, it's just it objectively is.
I have a problem with the game at the moment in that regard, that I don't see a clear direction what we want to make with the game. Do we want to make it fun, a little bit more RNG heavy, or do we want to make it like super competitive with RNG? That doesn't make sense, right?
Most people thought
it wasn't a very RNG heavy.
That hardly mattered because the launch was handled so poorly.
Isn't this game dead already? No, yeah, kinda. I don't know, but it's a fun game, okay? The game is actually good.
The moment you stop adding value to Valve, which is usually the moment you ship a piece of software, they don't care. After Artifact's been out, do you know how many times Valve employees from the Artifact team have answered any questions of mine? Big ol' fucking 0. None.
The final nail in the coffin was that Magic the Gathering Arena, the client that finally brought Magic to the masses, launched in fall 2018. By January 2019, the damage had been done. Artifact's peak concurrent player count had dropped from an already underwhelming 46,000 to just 6,000.
What happened with Artifact? Dead game. That's what happened.
Adding fuel to some critics' fire, Garfield was terminated by Valve amidst all this mess. Now, Garfield...
Terminated by Valve? Like, no one works there anymore, is what they mean?
Rarely stays on with the design team after he's launched a game, but the optics weren't great. The worst part, though, was watching all these streamers who went all in on Artifact flounder as they realized they'd gotten on a sinking ship.
I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I should just bail. Maybe everyone else is just smarter than me, and I'm just an idiot for still playing this game.
And then, in May 2019, Valve released a statement acknowledging that Artifact had some deep-rooted problems and they...
To be fair, was he playing a game ever that wasn't dead? Wasn't there a Gwent streamer or something as well? And or am I mixing him up with someone else? Maybe it was someone else. I don't know. I think it was Gwent, right?
They'd be going back to square one to try to fix them. It even looks like Valve is going to try to enlist the Artifact community for help, if there's anybody left in the Artifact community.
I mean, I played Gwent too.
I can tell you
I
right
played
now
it
that
until I
there's a
didn't
lot
enjoy
of
it
people
anymore.
that think that Artifact is like something that they've completely abandoned and will never update.
It was pretty enjoyable for a bit, but it wasn't updated that much.
On updating it. It's something that I have actually seen. Like, I visited Valve literally a week ago.
The thing is, at this point, it doesn't seem like it's even possible to resurrect Artifact.
The reason why Artifact failed is because Artifact just wasn't a fun game.
Artifact is garbage. Oh my.
This is Dota
The
tournament,
game's
right?
subreddit has already devolved into a wasteland of sadness, spite, and admittedly top-tier memes, while the game's Twitch page was recently home to illegal streams of anime, porn, and Avengers Endgame.
Avengers Endgame.
So, could Artifact have been all the things it was supposed to be? The Hearthstone killer, the Half-Life 2 of card games,
Hearthstone
Valve's
killer.
greatest moneymaker in history? Maybe. But unfortunately, until Valve figures out a way to bring Artifact back from the dead, it'll go down in history as not only one of their greatest failures, but also one of the greatest games that never was.
Thanks
That
for
never
watching.
was.
If you want more content
Yeah,
like this, hit the
actually,
sub button and hit the notification bell for unique bite-sized videos.
surprisingly fast.
Else, hit up our Instagram,
Surprisingly
Twitter, and Facebook
fast.
pages.
In a parallel universe, Artifact killed Hearthstone. Instead of Hearthstone killing itself, or what? I don't think they need that much help, to be honest. Just EAPM on the stream says, just curious.